Welcome to Bright Balance Yoga on YouTube. Join me for morning classes where we start our day with positive energy, focusing on alignment, breath, and mindfulness. Follow me on Instagram for updates on all our classes and inspiration for your practice. Let's explore the transformative power of yoga together and bring more brightness into our lives. Here's a video of our class today.
Morning guys, I've still got a couple of minutes before we actually start the class, but usually what we would do down the beach is I would go around and give a positive affirmation card before we start the class. So I'm just going to do one for us all together in this form. So I'll pull the card and I'll tell you what it is. It's just to give you a bit of lightness, a bit of fun to start your day, something to think about. Maybe use it as your intention for your practice or your day. You take this sort of energy. So yeah, let's see what we've got today. I am important. Today, feathers float and dance around me as the angels are a blessing and caring for me. So that is our aspiration card today. I don't know if it's going to focus on that or not. But I am important. So throughout your practice, maybe you want to say that to yourself. Maybe you want to take that energy throughout your day, whatever works for you. Just remember that you are important. So enjoy. So today's practice is going to be more of a slower, little bit of a flow, but more just to stretch out the body. We're coming to Friday, so it's been a big long week. I've been a little bit under the weather, so I don't want to do anything too intense, but just have a nice easy flow to start my day. So usually I start every day with a bit of yoga, but this week's been a bit more relaxed just because of how I've been feeling. So with that being said, we're going to start in our reclined butterfly. Feet are going to touch. You're going to take your chest all the way back down on towards the mat. You might even want to place your hand, one on your belly, one on your chest. Or you might take both hands out to the side, whatever feels nice for you. This is your practice. And just start to breathe. Today we're going to really focus on just taking some moments for ourselves before the day begins. In my classes we do talk to breath quite a bit, as it's a way of grounding yourself, really connecting down to your mat. Another way to ground myself I find really enjoyable is trying to use our senses. Firstly, what can you feel this morning? Is it the way your hands are connecting to the mat, or maybe even your back? Or are you feeling the way the breath comes in through the nose, swells your belly, and then heads back out again? Being here now, I'd like you to keep your eyes shut. So we'll go through our other senses. What can you hear? What's going to really ground you to the moment? You might only be able to hear me. You might be able to hear the tweet of a little bird off in the distance. Just observe. Next, we move on to what you can smell. Is it the freshness of the morning or a crisp smell of your perfume? Is there something beautiful you can find through your nose? Now that we're focusing on our smell, I want us to start to deepen our breath for an inhale of 4, 3, and out. 3, 2, 1. Breathing in through the nose and sighing it out of the mouth. Let's do 2 more together. Inhale and exhale. 1 more. Now I want you to focus on just breathing entirely through your nose. When you breathe out, I want you to feel like you're fogging up a mirror. We're going to really start to build up that ujjayi breath, our belly breath. Painting this all within your nose. The next sense we have is taste. Is there something lingering on your tongue from last night? Have you already had your morning coffee? Or can you imagine the taste of what you may eat after your class? We're going to leave our 5th sense just for the moment, because we're going to keep our eyes shut. Take both of our knees into our chest. Come up to a little egg. So you're going to wrap your hands around your knees and give yourself a big hug. And feel how that brings comfort into your body. Going to drop our knees over to the right now as you gaze over to the left. Now if you'd like, you can keep your eyes shut. You can do the final sense and look over that arm and see belly button's going to twist towards the knee as your chest comes over to the left. Coming back through your center, we'll go opposite sides, so left knee over left side, head turns to the right. Coming back through your center, we'll come up to a little ball. We're going to rock and roll the length of the spine so we get enough momentum to sit up nice and tall. From here, if you haven't already opened your eyes, you're welcome to. Just see what you can see in front of you. How much space is there in the room? What is there that's comforting? Now if you'd like to stay in a cross-legged seated position, you can always put a block underneath you just to lift your hips a little bit higher than your knee. Otherwise, I invite you to tuck your knees underneath your hips and sit up nice and tall. From here, we're going to inhale to rise our arms up nice and high, taking it slow. And exhale through our heart center. We'll do 3 rounds of this, just taking your breath and your energy all the way to the top and melting it all back in. There's no races, just take it slow. This time I'm going to come up. When our hands connect, we're going to lift our lower back, cinch our waist in, and then you're going to twist your chest over to the right side as you try to take that left hand and maybe even wrap it around behind your left hip. Right hand touches the knee, do a gentle little pull to twist ourselves a bit deeper. Cinching in at the waist. Can we look all the way behind us? And breathe. Coming back through your center, we'll rise our arms up. And we'll take it over to the opposite side. So waist cinches in and we twist our chest to the other side. You might even want to bind that hand behind your back. Shoulders away from ears, neck nice and long. Coming back through your center, Going to walk our hands forward and come into a puppy dog pose. So hips are going to stay nice and high. And just connect your head, maybe even your shoulders to the mat as you walk your fingertips forward. Feeling the stretch and opening through your shoulders. Hips are going to stay high as you melt in and down. You might even remind yourself of the card today. I am important. From here we're going to slide all the way down and onto our belly. Okay, shoulders are going to come, elbows are going to come underneath our shoulders. And as we inhale, we're going to lift up and open up the chest. Bow forward to exhale. This time we're going to take our hands beside our wrists and lift up. Baby cobra. Exhale to flat. Let's do 2 more. Hands press in. Coming back down. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale to release. This time I'm going to push up and maybe we'll go a upward facing dog or a cobra. And push back to your downward facing dog. First downward facing dog for the day. So just taking any gentle movements you'd like this morning. You might want to bend one knee, stretch the other. You might want to make your downward dog a little bit longer. If you want to check your length, I get you to ripple to your high push-up. And see, are your shoulders stacked underneath over your wrists? And are the feet, the toes, under the balls of the ankle? If that's correct, then push back to your downward facing dog. You've got a nice bit of length there. Bending, stretching, whatever you'd like. As you inhale, your right leg's going to come up to the sky nice and high. Toes point towards the mat. And open up to a scorpion tail as you exhale. Create that space between the knees as you find stability in your hands and shoulders. Big breath in. And exhale to release. Let's take it to the left side. Left leg lifts. And now open to your scorpion tail. Create that space. Find that energy. Let's release it down. This time we're going to walk our hands to our feet, do something different for our practice, and come all the way to the back of the mat. Taking our feet to hips width, we're going to bend our chest down, maybe even bending the knees, just to create that chest to thigh connection. You might want to grab each elbow and just rock side to side in your ragdoll. From here, you're going to release both your hands and roll slowly up vertebrae by vertebrae till you come to your standing position. Shoulders roll back last. Head is nice. And we're going to take a nice slow walk all the way to the front of the mat. Really grounding down through the 4 corners of the feet. I want your toes to feel nice and fluffy today. Inner thigh is going to roll out back. As your core and belly engages, we're going to cinch that waist in. Shoulder blades rolling up and back. Hands come out nice and long. Fingertips ready. Big smiles. You are happy to be here. You're excited for practice. Inhale to sweep your arms up. Bend your knees. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Straight spine. Bow forward. Then you're going to sweep all the way up and do our half salutation for today. Exhale to release. Inhale to sweep them all the way up again. And bend your knees to fold down. Halfway lift. You can have hands on shins or hands under shoulders, whatever works for you today. And bow forward. Let's energize, sweep all the way up. This time we're going to melt all the way through back down. Halfway lift. Melt again. Let's energize, coming all the way up again. This time we're going to take your hands to your hips. And we're going to take a big step back with our right foot and come into our runner's lunge. So left foot's going to ground, right foot's going back, chest comes over. Now I want to connect your hands towards the mat. As your chest actually doesn't touch your thigh, we're going to lift off a little bit. Try and get that energy, that space. Absolutely fine if you can't, but I just want you to feel like you're pushing up between your fingers. Okay, front shin's going to be straight, and we've still got those fluffy toes. Back heel is pushing towards the back of the mat, and I want you to almost feel like this front foot is actually pulling towards the back of the mat. You'll feel your hamstrings engage. 2 more breaths here. Really push the heart forward, shoulders away from ears. When you're ready, we're going to drop the back knee. We're going to come into a half monkey. So straightening the front leg, going to come all the way back. Now I like to shimmy my back knee just back so that it is nice and straight, and using the blocks if you've got some. I use them to help myself fold. So toes are going to flex towards the nose in your half monkey. Then we're just going to fold our heart and chest forward. Feel the stretch. And breathe. Coming back through your runner's lunge, let's get rid of our blocks. Going to plant our hands nice and hard into the mat. We're actually going to take our knee up into a tiger curl if we can, and push back to downward facing. Big breath in and out. Let's do 2 more. Can you ground down the knuckles into the mat and make yourself a big V? Right leg's going to sweep up as you inhale. And we're going to come to the runner's lunge on the opposite side. So right leg forward. And just settle. Heart draws forward, shoulder blades roll back. We're looking up. Back leg's going to engage, so push that hamstring towards the roof. Breathe. Sometimes when you find discomfort in this pose, a little circle just on that front knee helps distract you. When you're ready, drop the back knee. We'll come to our half monkey again, taking the blocks if you need. Toes flex towards the nose. Inhale to add length and bow forward as you exhale. Blocks are sometimes seen as, the easier, the less challenging, but it's actually a lot about body proportions. For me, trying to get my hands down to the mat really crunches my upper back, so blocks help me here. I've got quite short legs and quite a short torso, so sometimes reaching things is a lot easier when I use the blocks, so do not be afraid to use them. Coming back through your runner's lunge. This time we're going to take the back leg, press up into our forward fold. Halfway lift, bow forward. Sweep, energize all the way up. And melt back in. Halfway lift, straight spine. This time we'll step back with the left foot and we'll take it. Because we're going to do both sides. Even though we've done it, we'd still have to do a tiger curl on this side to get back to our downward facing. So we were here before, couple breaths. Maybe even do some little circles just to distract you. When you're ready, drop the back knee. We'll come through our half monkey again. Toes to the nose. And bow. Coming back to your runner's lunge, we're going to pick up that knee and tiger curl it into our chest. Hands really ground into the mat to do this. And then push back to your downward facing. 3 breaths. Just settle. Create the space. On your next inhale, left leg lifts. Tiger curl knee to the chest. Landing runner's lunge. Maybe even do some little circles. Heart draws forward, shoulder blades away from the ear. Drop your back knee. Come to your half monkey. Inhale to lengthen. Bow forward as you exhale. Come back through your runner's lunge. You're going to really energize that front leg so you can pick up the back foot and meet in our forward fold. Halfway lift. Bow forward. Sweep to rise up. And melt all the way back in. Halfway lift. And step back with the right foot. This time we're going to go for our crescent lunge. So either dropping the back knee, we'll go for a low crescent. Now you might want to create a bit of space between the knees, or if you'd like to just go straight to your high crescent, that's up to you. First things first, let's get stability if you're not too sure. So creating a bit of space, walk that front foot over to the side, shins parallel to the mat. When you want to come up, you're going to squeeze your inner thighs together to lift that back knee off the mat. Now it's absolutely fine. We'll rate this as chilies. So 1 chili is your lower crescent and 2 chilies is your high crescent, okay? You don't have to do it today if you don't want to, but arms are going to come up nice and high, either position, so your core and belly pulls in. Big breath in and out. Again, want you to feel like that front foot is pulling towards the back of the mat and you're pushing through that back heel, taking a little bend in the knee. Big breath in and exhale to release to your runners. Push back to downward facing dog. Right leg sweeps, inhale. Tiger curl knee to the chest. Really dome the spine to get the foot through. Now come up to your crescent, high or low, whatever works for you. And breathe. Energize the thighs together. Create that stability. Using your senses, what can you focus on in front of you with your eyes? It's going to create grounding. Big breath in. And bow forward to exhale. Step up to your forward fold. And we'll do it all again. So halfway lift. Melt down. Sweep to rise. And come all the way back down. Halfway lift, heart drawing forward. And step back with the left foot. Come to your crescent, whichever one you'd like. And energize. Shoulders are going to come away from ears. Create the space. And breathe. Release. Cartwheel the hands down. Take your tiger curl. And push back to your downward facing dog. Okay, left leg sweeps, inhale. Tiger curl knee to the chest. Come up, crescent lunge, and hold. Exhale to release it. Pick up the back foot. Come to forward fold. Halfway lift. Bow forward. Sweep to rise all the way back up. And this time we're going to take our feet as wide as the mat and we'll come to our yogi squat. Again, this practice was very small, just to waken the body for the day. So in your yogi squat, if you're uncomfortable, sometimes people find sitting on a block is easier just to help. But what we're really focusing on is opening up our hips this morning. So trying to keep the feet flat, it might mean taking them wider. But you're going to use your elbows inside your knees just to give a gentle nudge to open the hips. And when you're ready, then take your right hand onto the mat beside your right foot and your left arm to sky. Twist open the shoulders, but keep them away from your ears. Couple breaths here. We'll switch to the other side. Coming back through your center, going to walk the feet in a little bit further, and then we'll take a nice deep sit. Taking both legs out nice and straight, we'll come into our staff pose. So sitting up tall, rolling shoulder blades up and back, toes flexed towards our nose. Big breath in. You want to add length as you breathe in. So think coming up, and then we're going to bow forward as you exhale. Now, taking a bend in the knees. If you take a bend in the knees in your forward fold, you're going to take a bend in the knees in this position here, because what I want is your chest coming towards your thigh. Really going to release the back. So all this posterior chain before we start the day and create that space. So it's not about reaching your feet. It's about that chest to thigh connection today. Just breathe. You might even want to shut your eyes again and connect back in with your other senses. What can you feel in this pose? Is it a tight hamstring, or is it comforting? I want you to breathe into the comforting side of the pose. Send the breath in and feel the softness begin. Coming back through center, we'll leave the right leg out nice and long. Left leg's going to come connect to the thigh. Inhale both arms to add the length, and bow forward as you exhale. Stretching out one side. Now you might even want to connect that right elbow to that right knee and take the left arm up and over. So you really feel that side body stretch. Both hips are connecting to the mat as you try to reach and stretch that left rib out. Maybe even breathe into that left lung. Coming back through center, you're going to take the left hand beside the left hip and come up for a flash dance. Feel length and line from hand to toe as you push your hips up towards the sky. Coming back through center, we'll take it over to the opposite side. So left leg straightens, right bends. Inhale to lengthen and bow forward. So this practice is just a nice, simple, slower practice for the day. It's really just about stretching out your body, your hips, your shoulders. It's not about trying to do a very complex pose, but it's just going to give you that energy and comfort to make it through the Friday and get yourself to the weekend. Especially because I've been a little bit more run down, it's nice to just have a reinvigorating practice. Okay, releasing right hand to right hip, flash dance on the other side, hips come high. Back through center. You're going to take both legs out straight and we'll come down to low, lying on the mat. This time we're going to take our right knee into chest, and then you're going to shift your bum over to the right side of the mat just ever so slightly, so that when you roll that right knee over to the left, your hips are stacked on top of each other. Now if your knee's up in the air, always putting a block there is going to be nice. So it's not about the knee hitting the ground, it's about the twist coming from the torso. We're going to gaze back over that right hand. Find comfort in the twists.
Coming back through your center, we'll go opposite side. So take the block over the other side. Left knee into the chest. Shimmy the bum over to the left, just ever so slightly. And then drop the knee over to the right side as you gaze over to the left. Now, because we're coming towards the end of our practice, we're going to do a Shavasana. We'll do a happy baby just before then. But if you'd like, you can close your eyes down now. Because all the moves that come next, you know, and you find comfort in them. And just come back to your senses. Without sight, what can you hear more? And what can you smell more? And what can you feel? Taking both knees into your center. We're going to go for a happy baby. So either wrapping hands around the back of the thighs or the feet. What I want you to do is keep the shoulders connected to the mat and the lower back. You might want to straighten one leg and bend the other. You might find comfort in the stillness. Whatever works for you, feel fine off your movements. I always like to do some little bum circles, so 3 lower back circles to the right, and then 3 to the left. Just massaging and imprinting that lower back. And then I like a little straighten and stretch of the legs. And when you're ready, we'll find our final pose, our Shavasana. Now, if you'd like, you can always quickly put some music on, but you might get distracted by the phone or by something. So I encourage you just to lie in this space of silence. And if you have thoughts, acknowledge them. You're human. It does not mean that you're not doing the right thing. You can acknowledge them and then pass them away. I'll let you know when you're done. Just going to start with a light wiggle of the toes and the fingers. You might want to roll the wrist down, take the arms overhead and pull a nice long length. Keeping your eyes shut, you're going to take both knees into your chest and roll onto your right side. Just enjoy these final few moments to yourself and with your mat. And when you're ready, we'll come up to a seated position. Bring your hands to the center of your heart. Just want to remind you that you are important, you are loved, and you are needed. And to that we say, Namaste. So thank you for joining me again on this free live yoga. I'm trying to do one every week, and the schedule will be back to normal from next week, so I'm really excited about that. I was just a little bit sick this week, so unfortunately couldn't do it. The other thing to remind you of is the aspiration card that we actually pulled today is I'm important. So take that energy throughout your day, and I'll see you on the mat next time. Bye.